I start the handicraft ASMR, Mısır ASMR. Anyway, Rudy, of course, Rudy is here. Отвали. As soon as he hears me talking, he immediately rushes in. He has to be involved. I haven't streamed for 2 days, and during that time, I've made a bit of the Molla Bashi pattern. Let me get the template. And as I said, I'm using this cartoon, but using the colors of the big one. That's a small version, that's a bigger one. So I'm replacing the brown and light teal with the red and yellow. And I'm here right now at this row. So I have to do 3 yellow and 3 red. And in the middle here, it's just as it should be. I prefer to make each color at once. So I'm doing the red, all of the knots that I made with red will be done with red. And then later I will fill the gaps with yellow. So that's done. I've tightened up the tension, but still, as I said previously, the wooden frame loom doesn't hold the right tension. Still better than the rigid header loom, but still not as good as the metal frame. So I'll probably make a couple of small carpets on this loom. Small because they got this the frame that holds the tension is actually stays within the warp. There's one here and the other one is over here. So I've got problem getting with the ratchet inside and tighten all the nuts. So I'll just use this loom on the small carpets, like the 20-40 centimeters, and then okay, I've got that one extra here. And then as I'll get my favorite souvenir shop will buy these carpets, and I'll try to find the normal metal frame, because I definitely don't like standing up and going every time I need to change the shed. Well, it's good for the exercise, so my legs don't get numb. There'll be at least an exercise every 15-20 minutes, just to go up and then go down, and then again go up and go down, and before I start weaving the next row. But I prefer to have the metal frame because, first of all, you can hold the higher tension, because right now, if you can hear the sound, on the metal frame, it would be something like, I don't know, it would sound almost like the guitar string. That's the proper tension. But so far, it's got something. Should sing like this. There's some areas with the right tension, some with the loose tension. Just as I was leaving it for a while between warping moments, some areas lost the tension. The warp has loosened it. So in some areas I got this floppy stuff. Yeah, in some areas it's almost the right tension. So yes, I'm looking forward to buy the metal frame. This is the right sound. I don't know if you can catch the difference in the sound, but there is. So this is the roll that goes in between two set of heads. Don't look at it, it's not shaved properly, not trimmed properly. When I finish the carpet, it will be taken to the workshop where they will trim it properly, just like shave it, like you do with the lawn mowing. They'll cut it to the proper length and get it all even at the same height. That's the final step when you do the carpets. You wash them, you weave it, you take it off the loom, you wash it, and after you wash it, you take it to the workshop where they brush it and then they trim it. Or maybe the other way around. Trim and then wash. I haven't gotten to that point yet, because usually what I've done was for myself, and I didn't really care if it's not trimmed regularly at the proper height. It's just for myself. Let me get it closer to you. Just for this part, there's only 10 rows, and I've already used half of the dark blue skein, and I'm using the 1/4 of the red skein is almost gone. So it's quite yarn consuming, which my husband really appreciates, so that there will be less yarn in the house. I was actually cleaning up the mess in this room today, and I've spent into these apple cakes. I spent about 2 kilos of wool, and there's so many husks of yarn, of the carpet yarn, lying around. So I just, like I said, probably I'll have to finish it by the end of this year, so I can have them all nice, neatly packed in boxes instead of the huge pile lying around. But I'll try to do like 2-3 skeins in a row, in a week, so I can slowly finish it up, have everything nice, packed up nice, and it's not laying around in piles. What I'm doing, this is the center, and it's the center of the head, and it's one stitch on each side, so it's very easy to count. The most difficult rows are the ones that you start plain from weaving. That's when you have to start most of all from the central thread that I usually mark. Well, not everybody marks as a central knot, and then just spread the pattern to the sides, and then it's much easier once you get everything done, everything in order. It's just a matter of fluctuations, about 1 or 2 stitches on each side, unless there are the floral rosettes, and as I showed earlier in the previous stream, the rosettes here are quite different. This one is more male. It has the squares and triangles in the middle of the rosette. Well, I'm gonna do the eight ray star and the flower in between. It's actually the same pattern, just slightly different around the center, and maybe just this one corner slightly different, but the rest is just the same size. So I will use that, the floral one, the colorful one, just like I've changed the colors for the whole carpet. It will be done, they said the pattern will be for the small carpet, but it will be the colors of the big one. There's actually 3 versions of it, and I've got the patterns for the 2 versions of Perebardale. There's another one that is in the museum, and it's got small changes in the angel and turkey patterns, and it also the colors, because that one is more like the scissors are more peach color, and the background is black. So I'm using the bright and joyful version. Even thought I do like the mint colored ones. I got lots of mint yarn, and I'll probably do that on a big loom. So this row is very simple: 3 yellow, 3 red, and repeat till finished. The next row will include the white dot in the middle of the red part. The red part will contain 2 red, 1 white, 2 red, 1 yellow, and in repeat. Just like here, I don't know if you can see this white dot and the yellow. As I say, it's not visible yet, but after the final treatment, all the colors, all the patterns will stand out. Let me get the camera this way so I can watch, I can see. No, if I can get closer and you can watch it as well. Power spike disconnected, and I still got the right side left to do the red ones, but since I'm already here and I don't have to jump between back and forth, I'll do the yellow one as well, so you can see how the pattern turns out. Salvage is always a problem, because especially in this one, because as I explained, the levers for that hold the frame together are actually inside the warp. So I'm trying to raise up the upper bar. It stretches the to warp. So it doesn't matter how much I pull, I still stretch it up. So I'm just not pushing too hard on the selvages. As I say, that's until I get the proper metal frame loom. I'll probably start looking for it next year. And so far, this frame can handle probably 2 or 3 carpets until it breaks down, and then probably I will use it to build the flying 8 loom. That's what I also have in plan. I want to make the 8 shaft loom for the regular weaving, and I'll use the spare parts from this loom, and also got the smaller one. It's about the weaving length, and again it's the metal frame inside for about 60 centimeters, and I'll use that as parts for the flying loom. So because that's the hardwood, it's not the oak, but it's the, what's the word in English for that? We call it platan tree. It's kind of pinkish, and it's very hard. Or maybe elm. Actually, elm is not really, not the elm. The other one that looks like elm. Well, anyway, that's a hardwood, so it can be recycled and used as a spare part for the flying 8 loom. I definitely want to try the 8 shafts. I'm talking to my husband for the Christmas present, buying the Ashford table loom, 32 inches, but he's like, your room is full of looms, why do you need another one? It's like hard to explain to the guy. Even thought that he has, at one point he had 3 bikes in his garage, motorbikes, and he wanted to buy another one. I said, well, you already have 3. And he said that's a different one. He had two motards, and he had 1 phaser, and he had 1 haojui. So then he swapped 1 haojui to the 1 motard. So yeah, there's motard, phaser and haojui. And even thought, I said, well, you have that, and still I have to use all of the looms at the same time to show that there's not enough looms for me. I still need 1 more, because, well, you know the prices for the for Ashford looms in US, and it takes me about half of that price to be delivered to my country, and then about 36% of VAT and customs. So as I was joking, it's probably cheaper for me to fly to US, buy the loom, and come back, even with the visa, hotel, flying, and everything, than just buy it and ship to my country directly. So that's it. So, but he promised that one day he will make me the flying 8, and maybe he'll make the small version, the table loom, if I can find the blueprints. Okay, moving. As I said, this part hasn't finished it isn't finished yet, but so here I am trying to show that I got all my looms warped and worked. So I definitely need to buy the 8 shaft 32 inches loom. Probably next week, when I get fed up with this one, with the carpet, I'll try to do the indirect warping. My husband made me the warping board and already warped some, but I haven't put it on the loom yet, so I have to dress the loom. That would be the excitement, to get the dopamine from that, to a bit of the sample, and everything works out. Move back to the carpets. Sometimes I need to take a break, as ADHD, you get overwhelmed with dopamine from one type of activity, and you need to switch to another. And when you get fed up with that, and come back to this, but hopefully not with the carpets, because this is my lifetime passion. It lasts for 37 years, and you can imagine. And I was trying to make that on a rigid head loom. I was doing that on the metal frame, but parts of which were stolen when we moved to another apartment. And finally, I can make the full-size carpet, because rigid head loom allows you to make something like, I don't know, 40 by 40 centimeters, because it cannot hold the tension. And once you start advancing, it obviously loses the tension of folding up and ruining the pile. But with this one, what happens is when I advance, it just rolls back to the top. So the warp from the back actually comes up, and it's circular. It's like it's a circle of warping. So there's no end, there's no start. The start and end actually here. This is the start, and at the same time, this is the end of the carpet. So when I finish that, I'll advance it until the level where I need to, and I'll just cut the warp at about this level from the loom, from the finished carpet, and the rest of the stuff will just fall out easily, and we'll be ready to start a new one. And probably tomorrow I'll do the apron. I've already washed the old bed sheet. It can be used, any piece of cloth long enough to be attached to the back of the loom, and then in the front just to be placed. I'll show that tomorrow. And made a mistake, skipped one red. It's those that who just joined. This is the Turkish a symmetrical knot. So I'm picking up the right side of the pair, put the thread from the center of the pair to the out, and then grab the hook and tie the knot. Okay. Oops. Now moving to the right side. There's also the asymmetrical knot, but I haven't tried that. There's a camera turning red sometimes. Almost finished the red part. Come. That's my dog. Нет. He just had his dinner and he wants to go out outside because there are cats in the garden. But since he's an Irish setter, he's got the strict restrictions. No walking at least an hour after meal. So he knows that in the middle of the stream he may try to ask to go out, but no. He's very, very demanding and very jealous dog. And we're back to the center to fill the yellow wool. Right, red one is finished. Pull the thread back. Нет. Иди домой. Иди спать. Спать. He just had his dinner about 40 minutes ago. That's why he still has to sleep and digest everything so that he doesn't get a bloat. So it will be at least another hour. He will be laying here smacking his lips, showing how badly he needs to go out to pee, but actually chase cats. We got one stray cat, which is absolute disaster for everybody on the street. Actually, he's terrorizing 3 streets. He's pulling out the garbage from the dumpster. He's beating up animals, like especially cats that have owners. Our neighbor cats, and he's fighting with dogs, small dogs. He is actually afraid of Rudy because Rudy is a big one. Irish Setter is not a small breed, but Rudy is actually one of the biggest in the breed. He is 74 centimeters tall, which is 3 centimeters taller even for American standards, and almost 7 centimeters taller than the British standard, the European standard. So he's a giant. When I visit the vet for the yearly checkups and vaccination, they're always, even though they know him, they know he's tall, but every time they come, they can't stop surprising, wondering how big he is. So I have to measure him every time, how tall he is. So oops, sorry. So we've got another 5 minutes to finish the knots, and I'll move to the weft. You know, sometimes I think that carpet weaving is slightly is looks a little bit like the Baltic pickup on an Inca loom. It's got the same idea. You've got the colored thread, and you got two sets of weft that are actually two sets of warp on the Inca loom. But just with the piles, you don't see the warp, or you don't see the weft. You can see it from the back. The colored weft can be seen from the back if it's woven properly. The white one shouldn't be seen at all. My camera changes the colors. Sometimes it does. Just 2 more minutes, and I will change the shed. And that's this wobbling is actually the tension issue, but nothing I can do in this on this loom. As I said, I'm used to work on the metal frame. It's the best one. And just 6 more knots, and the row is done. Okay, that's it. And let me get a bigger view. I'm putting the bar down to release the shed. this is the to separate the warp from back and forth in front. And of course, on the metal loom, the shape is much bigger. I can insert the hand at this level, not at the top, on the metal loom. Have to be hard. So the white weft is actually keeping all the knots together, beating it up, level it up, and the colored one helps to separate two layers to create the shed, not only at the top but at the bottom as well. I have to beat it really hard so that it actually compresses, and the height of the knot actually matches the width. Make sure there's no missing knots. And I'm beating it up with a straight side. Okay, that's the white one, and I'm raising up the bar again to get the shed back. Release. Now over here, oops, the small cross between the two wefts. So one goes beyond the other, behind the other, and I'm just releasing so I can get more space to navigate. And as if you've seen with the white one, I made a huge gap, huge passes, because it's very easy to make, but because it goes between the two layers and it goes in a straight line. With the colored one, it should make the kind of the zigzag between each thread. So I'm doing it at small areas, angle down, and carefully picking up by 2-3 threads at the same time. That's just wool behind the loom. Like passing by 1 or 2 pair at a time, so it actually wraps around each thread of the warp. As you can see, it looks like flat here, but once I separate it, the threads are actually going in different directions. They're easy to pick up. And another couple of inches. Make sure that you don't miss any threads. And tomorrow I will start, hopefully, the set of square borders. Oops. Hopefully tomorrow I will start the second set of rats and this part, because right now I'm at this one, so I'll probably make a couple of more rows today to this point, and that would be tomorrow, and that's probably Wednesday. I'll take the breaks on Thursday and Friday and be back on Saturday to finish till this bit, and next week we'll start the floral pattern. And just a small note, when you buy these tools like that, always use the insulation tape, because you might end up with something like this. I forgot to make it, and all these metal pieces were actually cutting my finger, so I had to use the insulation tape. Insulation tape, the painter scotch. Some people use the cloths to wrap this around. I just used what I had, just browsed from my husband's stash, got the insulation tape from him. And made the handle to protect my fingers from cutting and blisters. Just 2 more minutes. I'll move to the fun part, brushing and cutting. Oh. Excuse me. As you can see, I wrapped it missed a bit, 1 thread extra. So I have to return. Okay, that's right. Don't let this happen. As you can see, they're not wrapping up tightly, just pulling it straight, so they kind of flatten up, and you have to undo that. If you feel the tension, the thread cannot be pulled, just release some and do it carefully one by one. And the final bit. Got the thread here. And here's the moment where the tension does make the difference. I have to pull 1 thread at a time. You can see I keep the thread in the air, keep the colored weft in the air so it can be placed freely. Okay, now got a bit of the tension problem here and have to beat up really hard so the threads are all at the same level. So it compresses everything. And now brushing. Get all the threads at the back so I don't grab them. Best brush. Just slightly squeeze it and pull it. This will straighten up all the threads in the pattern. Brushes and pulls the knot tighter and cut. That's why I need to have an apron, so it will collect all the lint. And now level it up. As I said, I'm not really paying serious attention to the thickness as far as it should be more or less the same because it will be trimmed later with a trimming machine. And that's it. The row is done. So now, since there will be less yellow row threads in this row, I will do just the yellow. So the gaps between will be filled with 2 red, 1 white, and it will be, let me show it this way. Well, I guess that's it. So this rose pattern will look like this, and on repeat. That will be it. So this is the row, and over here at the selvage, what I do is I separate 2 selvage pairs and I attach the blue weft to the top, so it goes along under the wrapping. I make the figure 8 around these 2 pairs. That's around the height of the row. 4 wraps, maybe 5, sometimes I make 2 wraps and 2 and 3. And make the selvage first, and then you don't have to worry about that in the end. Over here I continue making the rat's teeth. So it's combination of red and white. And at the corner we have, and I got in the beginning I have 4 reds, 1 yellow. The same thing from the other side. 4 reds towards the selvage. Three and 4. And make 1 yellow here. And then the white one over here. So I don't know if, well, actually the camera is still working, and we continue streaming and weaving. And as I said, since the smallest amount of yellow in this row. I just pick up the yellow in the middle, one in the middle of the previous row. In the previous row there were 3 yellow, now it's 1 in the middle. So this row I'm gonna do the yellow first, then white. I'm going this way going yellow, this one going this side going white, and backwards going red. Great. I made a mistake here. Oh, never mind. That's the deliberate mistake. You know, everybody says that when we weave carpets, there should be at least one mistake because you can make the perfect carpet. It's only God Almighty is the perfect. So you always have to make the small mistakes. So that would be my small mistake. So that the carpet isn't perfect. Two, three, four. Yep, sorry. I have to duck. Ouch. Duck under the camera holder. And yeah, right. Now back to the white thread. So in the middle of each thread trio, I make one white knot, and the rest will be filled up with red. All the gaps between yellow and white will be filled with red. To save you time. Whew. That's boring. If you're interested how to change the errors that I deliberately left here, there was a video in carpet weaving playlist how to make changes. Usually it requires the lifting up all the threads, removing and redoing the knot, and then beating everything back together. I think I need to sharpen the knife already. Okay, now back to white. And then enough of white. Now back to the red. It will take me just a couple of knots and I'll be back to the center of the camera. Now the white part is over. That means I'm back to the white. This is actually how it's done on the big carpets. The work is split between the number of people, say like 60 centimeters per person, and they're moving from filling out small gaps one by one. If I was working alone without streaming, I would probably do everything in one color, then do another color. But I think it's boring for everybody to watch me making notes of the same color. That's why I'm changing it. Okay, back to the red. Rudy isn't happy. I just increased these portions because it's colder and spending more time outside. So he's eating more. So he has to spend a little bit more time in digesting everything. That's right. No missing spots, no mistakes. And back to the white. We'll finish the whole lot and then do the rest of the red. And again, change the shade and beat up all the knots. Press them down to the body of the carpet. White goes to the loom. Now I've got only red one hanging from above my head. And another. Another 10 minutes. We'll finish up this row. Got a mistake here. This should be this. Two whips and a woof. Two red and white. I love when the warp has these markups, the new threads added. Is when you, even though I'm doing this, it's okay. The carpet is growing, but when I go to the point where this little abnormality disappears inside the pile, it's a great pleasure that you've done so much work. It's already hidden. So this one is approaching. Probably next week it will be already woven in. And Well, I guess I have to stop the streaming because the battery is dying. So thanks for joining me tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.